Hey, this is Doc Jen Fit. If you want to learn how to use your small axe to build an empire, you should be listening to the Small Axe Podcast with my good friend Nico.
Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Nico Salgado, and I chat with top industry leaders in multifamily and business. I believe that it only takes a small axe to build a lasting empire. And if you want to learn how to use your small axe to accomplish your biggest dreams and goals, then join our Small Axe community and enjoy the show. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Small Axe Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, and I'm really happy to announce that Dr. Jen Esquer is with us today, all the way from California. Now, from gymnastics to Pilates to physical therapy, Dr. Jen has been coaching and training for over 15 years. A highly competitive gymnast in her youth and a recent Battle of the Bars calisthenics champion, Jen Esquer is one of the fittest doctors you'll meet. However, fitness aside, Dr. Jen has built a library of knowledge through her numerous certifications in movement. She's been featured in Men's Fitness, Muscle and Fitness, Shape Magazine, and many more publications. Welcome to the show, Doc Jen.
Thank you for having me.
All right. It's really, really a pleasure to have you on the show. You know, I found you on Instagram, and I just noticed that you have been putting out such amazing content, things that I think my audience can really benefit from. And on top of that, just seeing your growth on Instagram has been really inspirational as well. But I would like to start, if you don't mind, with a little bit more about your background, and if you can just walk us through how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, I never expected or anticipated I would be where I am today at all. I've been a mover my entire life, studied kinesiology because that's the only thing that fascinated me, the study of human movement, and decided that I wanted to be a physical therapist there. At the time, I was also teaching Pilates, so I thought, oh, Pilates rehab, always work for someone else. I'll never open my own thing. I felt like business, that's over my head. I'm just going to work with the body, and that's all I want to do. And as I was in grad school and I started becoming a part of this calisthenic community, and all of a sudden they would post everyone in the community. And so this Instagram thing started blowing up for me, and I had no intention of that happening. It was just people were coming. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll post my calisthenic journey and show what I'm doing for training. And it became a fun little side hobby as I was going through school, because it was like a study or go play.
Mhm.
and it was really fun. But after I graduated, I really felt like I wanted to focus more of my intention into physical therapy and becoming the best physical therapist I could be. And so I kind of put Instagram to the back burner until I had a friend who kind of inspired and motivated me to just share my knowledge and what I was learning. Because I wasn't as inspired to post so much about my training anymore, or just what I could do with my body. I then wanted to transfer into what others could do for their body. And I was afraid to make that jump. It was a new territory that I was stepping into for my audience. And the moment I did, that's where everything just started to blow up. Like I mean, having one post grow 40,000 followers. It was something that was just crazy to me. I had never experienced, and to know that people were more interested in learning about their body rather than just watching the cool things I could do, that inspired me even more to continue to do that. And I met mentors, I met incredible movers, teachers, and it continued to push and push the boundaries of what I was even doing as a physical therapist in a clinic. There was so much more that I saw that I could do and how I could help people. And so I just continued to go down that route. And here it's led me to having an app, a membership, programs, being able to help people all over the world without even touching them and seeing them. It's an incredible gift as a physical therapist to truly empower people to move into their bodies.
Oh, wow. Doc Jen, I love that. And I want to backtrack a little bit and touch upon a few things that you said. Now, why Instagram? And is that your main social media outlet?
It is. At this point now, I've been posting a bit more on YouTube. My fiance and I have a podcast together now. So we're finding other ways that we can continue to educate and get the message across, that people can start to tap in within and really help themselves. And so wherever I can really push that to my capacity as well is what I do. And it's just been fun to continue to see it grow. But Instagram is definitely my main focus because it's the thing I'm most used to.
Right. I love Instagram as well, but in the business world that I'm in with real estate, we don't find that many customers on Instagram, so we're
Mhm.
kind of focusing more on LinkedIn. Do you
Mhm.
feel that the majority of your clientele is Instagram based?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think contributed to the exponential growth of your Instagram followers? You said right from the beginning with that first few posts that you had posted.
Well, first, getting into fitness and everything, I think the growth really came from collaboration. So, again, having other people that shared who I was and what I was doing was the key. And then from there, after I was educating, again, I would collaborate with other therapists, other chiropractors, and we would either do things together or one of the therapists would share other people's work. And through collaboration, I continue to get out in different people's eyes. And once I found my way of really teaching and people could trust that every week I was going to teach something on the body, that's where building that trust, building that consistency and having that collaboration is really it's continued to grow everything and I don't shy away from any of those things anymore.
I agree 100%. And so similar, there's so many parallels to the business world that I'm in with real estate because it's like where you can ride the coattails of somebody else who is already ingrained in the social media campaigns that you're trying to ingrain yourself in, and it kind of sets you apart as a thought leader as well once you are seen visibly with those mentors or I guess inspirational leaders that other people look up to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the same thing is true in real estate. If you want to set yourself apart as a leader, you should begin, with quality mentors, quality coaches, and people who already have their foot in the game, and really join and team up with them, and they can provide you with a quick way into the community. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's wonderful that you're doing that.
Thank you.
Now, um, as far as my listeners are concerned, a lot of people that are listening to my podcast are really just overworked, you know, really push themselves to the limits in the sense that they are constantly on task, constantly sitting at a desk, let's say, constantly making phone calls, doing things that are not necessarily physically active for them. Do you have any tips that you can provide my listeners?
Yeah, I mean, living at that high stress intensity, you're always going to be telling your body it needs to protect you. And that's where we get a lot more pains, we get a lot more tightness, restrictions within the body. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what we really need to do is be just starting to become hyper aware. When am I getting stressed? What can I do? It's so easy to be able to take 2 minutes out of a day to fall into some breath patterns, look at the outside your window, even if you didn't go outside. But the moment that we can change our states from a parasympathetic, relaxed, and kind of more down regulating kind of feel, or we can continue into this sympathetic, stressful, high bound state just by using our vision, just by using our breath. And so if I am looking at a screen all day long and I'm kind of narrow focused in that vision, that's more of a sympathetic place, which we're not going to get away from in this day and age. But at the same time, we have to be mindful of like, how often am I looking out? And it doesn't mean that you're like looking around, but it means you're looking like at a sunset. When you look at a sunset, you look at one place, but you take in the whole entirety of it. So if we just, even if you're in a room, how can I take in the whole entirety of the room and take some moments and take my eyes away from a screen? Even that can help to shift you into a more down regulated place, less stressful place. So it's like taking these moments to at least change our mindset from our vision space. And then the other thing is the breath. Most of the time when people are saying, oh, take a deep breath and relax, they're drawing their shoulders up to their ears and they're only focusing on this big inhale and then they just sigh it out. But the reality is the inhale is more of that sympathetically driven state. I mean, if we think about someone scaring us, we go and
Hmm.
we hold our breath in, our shoulders come up to our ears and everything gets real tense and tight. really where we should be focusing is the exhale. That's going to get that massage and you're like, everything just melts away. That is the state that really shifts us back into turning on that relaxed state. It's off. It's never really on until we activate it, until we stimulate it. And so we can use the breath of just focusing, okay, I'm going to place my hands low on my low rib cage. And I want to feel my low rib cage, relaxing my shoulders, not letting them come up to the ears. You can even like put on your Zoom and look in the, if you don't have a mirror around you, look at
Mm-hmm.
your neck. Is my neck tensing as I inhale? That's a sign that you're using more of the muscles up by your neck and shoulders to drive your breath, which at the end of the day, if you're breathing from only up here, of course you're going to get headaches. Of
Mm-hmm.
course you're going to get tension. You're going to need massages out through the upper trap area all the time, or feel that experience, because that's all the only place that you're breathing from. So if we just shifted, can I feel my low rib cage? Can I feel it expand to the sides in my hand? We don't think about that. We think about the belly a lot, but literally putting the hands on the side and saying, can I take a slow inhale for 4 seconds? And can I take a even slower exhale for like 6 to 8 seconds without rising my shoulders, without tensing the neck? Like, can I do these things? And can I take 5 breaths, 10 breaths, whatever it may be, but can I take this time away to just tune back in? And
Mm-hmm.
it's those little practices that at the end of the day are going to make some of the biggest differences in how you feel and how you focus throughout the day as well. If you want to be in that more creative mode, in that creative space and focusing throughout the day, you got to get the body a little bit more balanced.
Beautiful. Yes. And so we're going to have to break down in 1 second the a little bit of the vocabulary for the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system for the listeners out there. But uh, I just want to say that this is such a quick and easy thing that people can certainly do to, benefit them throughout the day. We are sitting here bottling things up, bottling up emotions, like you're saying, tensing up our neck, staring at a screen, you know, not shaking the fact that we just lost a deal, or not shaking somebody that just said something negative to us. We're bottling this up, and this is just increasing our stress levels, and a lot of times we don't realize it, and then that's going to, in turn, it's going to exit from our bodies, sometimes in a negative way. And it could be, as far as we lash out at somebody else or just get frustrated when it's not necessary. Because if we can do simple little breaks and simple tricks like this, something as simple as breathing the right way as you're describing it, I think that it can be hugely beneficial to help you coast through the day in a nice way. So can you break down the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system?
Yeah. So these are just part of our what is called the autonomic nervous system, which means automatic. So we have thought in the past that this is an automatic response that we can't necessarily control. And to some degree, it's true. Again, if a bear is suddenly chasing you, you're going to be more in this heightened state of mind, where if you're getting a massage and you can and are able to fully relax, you're going to be more in a relaxed state. So in a sense, we do have these that are automatic, but now we know that we can control them a little bit more, and we have the ability to shift. And that is empowering because it gives us the power back. We don't have to be in these states of tightness, of restriction, of stress, and really of even anxiety. If we can learn how to shift into these different states, we can even learn how to decrease anxiety, decrease panic, and really come back into full ownership of our body. So it's pretty incredible. So parasympathetic is just the rest, relax, digest state. So this is even the state that we want to be in when we're eating, which a lot of busy professionals are going to be staring at a screen still and still shoveling food in their mouth. It's not a great place to even be able to digest food at all. So you might
Mm-hmm.
notice more bloating, more upset stomach, more intolerances to food, even because you're not even taking those 30 minutes to just not stare at a screen, slow down, and practice more mindful eating. It sounds like a woo-woo thing, but it's really not. It really helps to
Wow.
get your body to actually be able to digest the food. And then on the flip side, we have that sympathetic, which is more of that fight, flight, freeze that we've probably heard about. And that is, again, someone scares you and you go into that panic mode. But now if we're always riding at a very high level and a stressful state, we're going to kind of always be in that sympathetic, and sometimes not even knowing it. A lot of times when I have clients on my table and I'm just moving through them through passive range of motion, people will not even realize the tension that they hold in their body, where I'll lift the arm and I'll say, relax, relax, relax. And they're like, I am relaxed. But if I let go, their arm is still floating in space. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
that's not relaxed, because if I let go, it should flop down.
Mm-hmm.
And people, we don't realize how much tension we hold. And so becoming aware is one of the greatest things. Like, if you're sitting down watching TV, are you actually tensing up as you're sitting? Can you feel your neck? Is it relaxed into the couch, or actually are you actually holding yourself? And if we can start to just become aware, that's the first step into learning how to switch it then.
That's wonderful. And a testament to that. So, when I first heard of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, I didn't know what was, I thought it should have been reversed, because sympathetic sounds like you're sympathetic towards somebody. It shouldn't be the fight or flight mode, but it was actually. And my trainer told me, he said, you are constantly in the sympathetic, whatever it is, mode. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I injured myself. I ended up, herniating some discs, and just pushing myself to I never gave myself a break. I was,
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't working my, revving my engines to the red line the entire workout, and then at work, stressing out, and then after work working another job, stressing out. It was just, I never gave myself that break. So I began from then on focusing, like you're saying, on breathing, certain breathing techniques, then meditation I jumped into, and just organizing my day in a different way, and taking a step back and thinking about the bigger picture of life, and really what is worth it, for me, and what I should really be focusing on, as opposed to just go, 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 that New York state of mind mentality.
Oh my gosh. And that's the hardest thing to convince busy professionals. When you have a goal and you have this certain idea of what your day needs to look like, and then you have to look a certain way, so you got to work out super hard. That's also a stressor. So if
Mm-hmm.
our day is only built with stressors in it, then it's like trying to do bicep curls in an already contracted bicep. It's not going to do much. You're already
Right.
stressed your system to a max. We have to have that lengthening of the bicep in order to build. So
Mm.
it's the same thing within our body. We have to have that relaxation state in order to progress upon it. And that's the thing that people miss the most, is the getting up and the moving, changing the positions throughout the day. Even if you're going to be working, like, how can you take a 5-minute lap and just walk? How can you take stairs? How can you change your chairs? How can you stand? How can you sit on the ground? How can you change it up? Because we're always looking for the one perfect position, the one perfect chair that's going to solve all our problems, but it's not. It's the constant variation that's going to be our greatest savior.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely. I really enjoy that. I think that everything that you're saying is just really striking a chord with me in particular, because, you know, my day, my weeks, everything is just so packed that if I don't consciously think about what I'm doing, making these little changes, standing up, walking around, changing my position as you're talking about, and focus on easy, simple breathing techniques, I will get severely stressed out. Maybe you can walk me through that simple little breath that you were talking about before, with a few moments of inhalation, a few
Mm-hmm.
moments of exhalation, and I'll do it right now, if
Yeah.
that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course. So I like to place the hands along the low rib cage and kind of give it a little squeeze, because then you can feel where your breath will come into. And if we do a 4-second inhale, just feel the hands expand away from each other. And then just do like a 2-second hold at the top, and then do a really slow at 8-second exhale. So this exhale can either be like you're blowing out a straw, or it could be just through the nose. So either one, in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in and out through the nose. And you just take about a 4-second inhale, 2-second pause, and then a
And then,
nice and slow 8-second exhale.
all right, I'm gonna rock this right now. Now, also, can I sigh or make any noises when with the exhalation?
It's better to keep those pursed lips, and what that does, like, as if you're blowing out a bunch of candles or you're blowing through a straw, it really just helps to retrain the diaphragm, and it helps to strengthen the diaphragm as well as we do that breath pattern. Eventually, the goal for every human should be to breathe in and out throughout the nose more.
Mm-hmm.
So less from the mouth, even as we're going on a walk or we're doing dishes or watching TV, you might not even notice your mouth is just hanging open. especially at night. It's actually super important to start to train trying to breathe in and out throughout our nose more than our mouth, because when we do this, we hold more, we're not expelling as much carbon dioxide. So we're
Mm,
keeping more in the body. And that's what's actually going to help to interact with the hemoglobin, which is going to release oxygen. And so ultimately, we can tolerate higher levels of stress within the body. We get more oxygen out throughout the muscles and throughout the brain. So especially think about going to sleep all night long without using your mouth and only breathing from your nose, you're automatically going to wake up feeling more refreshed and your brain power is going to be more energized. And
awesome.
so, and people ask, well, what if I have a deviated septum, stuff
Hmm.
like that? The reality is we can train those muscles around the nose to be able to breathe, even if you don't get surgery. And one of my greatest examples and mentors in breath space is, his name is Brian McKenzie. And he has a huge deviated septum. And he always will, he will put his nose in the camera and say, ask that question again.
I do too. My nose is shaped like a C. I got it broken a couple times during my boxing days in college, and I definitely have a deviated septum. And it's funny, I was at a certain point in time, I was using the nose
Mm-hmm.
like to help me breathe at night better. But then I stopped using it, and when I first stopped using it, I found it difficult to breathe. I felt like I wasn't getting enough oxygen. But now I don't even realize. And as you're talking to me, like I feel like my nose is so clear. I feel like I'm getting a ton of oxygen.
See, we can train ourselves into these positions. And I think we get to give our body a lot more credit
Hmm.
than feeling like it's always broken. It has the ability to adapt. That's the incredible thing about being human.
Awesome. Okay, so let's do this real quick. You count, I guess, count it out. I'll do the breath. So the four in, ready?
Yep. So squeezing that rib cage, doing a 4-second inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2-second hold. 1, 2. And then a nice slow 8-second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then right into that inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, and then out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes. You know, I'm noticing where the tension is in my
Mm.
shoulders, in my neck. And
Mm-hmm.
just after that, I feel calm, I feel relaxed. But at least I think it's important to also for people to notice where they're tensing up, where they're feeling that tension.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Doc Jen. Hey, I wanted to ask you, so you focus a lot on calisthenics, and for me, that is huge because again, in my younger days, injured myself using weights, and I don't use weights anymore, but I still work out a lot, right? So let's talk a little bit about next level stuff for people who they are feeling like they need to get some sort of workout in during the day. You know, I recommend it in the morning, and most people do too, but you know, to each his own. I don't want to limit people. What simple exercises do you think people can do to get started so they're not scared away and that they maintain motivation to continue to exercise?
I think one of the first things, especially in this day and age, is setting a goal for steps every single day, because we now have trackers. You don't have to get a smart watch even or anything. You have your phone. Most phones nowadays all track steps. And the reality is most people are not getting enough steps at all. Even I don't get enough steps probably each day to day because I am sitting in front and doing work on a computer. And just getting a 30-minute workout every single day is not going to combat sitting on your butt all day. So really, if you could do a 10-minute walk in the morning, that's when you're having your coffee. Maybe you are checking a couple emails if you need to, but you're at least getting outside and you're walking a little bit. And then you have the majority of your day, and then you take a lunch break and you go for a walk again. Like if we can split up the day with getting 10-minute walks in at a time, it's going to make a big difference. I remember in one of the hospitals that I worked in, I would just follow one of the physical therapists. Instead of taking her long lunch break, she would just do stairs the entire time. And I'm like, oh, let me join you. And so there's always opportunities to get this in, even if you live in a place that's going to get cold in the winter. Like, how can you find ways within the space that you're in to get steps in? Maybe that's doing the stairs. Maybe that's walking the hallways down and back and taking a call. How can you break into the day and at least set a goal in mind. And maybe that means you have an accountability partner. There's an app called Step Bet where you literally bet your money on how many steps you're going to get. And
Mm.
it calculates the steps that you should get based on how many you usually get on a day to day. So it's not going to be some outrageous number. It's going to be pretty in line with what you already do, but challenge you a little bit more. And that's a great way to be like, okay, here's 30 days. I put my money in. Let me make sure I get that money back
Mm-hmm.
by actually committing. And that's a great way, again, to just get movement in, not have it be scary, not be into a gym, not be afraid of what exercises and what weight should I do, but it's just getting constant movement in on a daily basis.
I could not agree with you more. The One of the main blockages for people, I find a few main reasons that people don't do it. Number one is time, or they think that they might not have enough time. And yes, you may have to cut out a little bit of sleep. And another thing that people talk about is fear of being seen, in a gym, fear of just not fitting in, not being that type of personality. But what you're saying is so powerful in the sense that it's simple. 10 minutes of walking in the morning, try to do it a couple more times during the day. While you're walking, you can be somewhat productive. You don't have to drop everything. You can still possibly, I guess, look at emails unless that's going to, stress you out or something. But I think that the main reason for moving our body is to get the blood flowing, to stimulate our brain more, to and just to be a healthier person all around. And in doing so, our emotion, our physical well-being is going to be enhanced, our feelings are going to be enhanced, we're going to just feel better about ourselves, and have more energy throughout the day. And it's hard for me to describe to people. I work out almost every day, 6 days a week typically, and I'll take it easy when I have to, when I'm feeling in my body that it's too much. But on those days, I still make sure that I'm not just laying around,
Mhm.
because I like getting the movement in, and I like getting the blood pumping in my body, and it just helps me think and focus more and just feel better all around. Is there some science behind that?
Oh, there's tons of science. It's proven. It's one of the main things to living longer and actually having longevity within our bodies is daily movement. And again, that can look like 30 minutes of walking. If that's where you're starting, that's proven right there that you're going to help to increase your longevity within your health. So there are a lot of cool studies now around like even high intensity workouts where it doesn't have to take much time. It could be anywhere from 10 to 15-minute intervals. And that as well is going to help to improve the oxygen consumption that you're getting in your body and make you at least metabolically look like you're even younger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be healthier for your joints and everything too, because and that could be, going to a cycle class and doing different intervals and cycling. That could be, doing the stairs and maybe you're going to go upstairs really quick and then slower and then up fast and then slow. And then getting these high intensity intervals is going to help you. And we need to not be so afraid of them as we age because it's going to be really healthy for our joints and everything if we keep loading them, if we keep jumping and doing agility. We don't want to fear that. We need to be putting our body in more extreme ranges of motion. I mean, it's just the reality. It's been studied as well, people in other cultures who get down on the floor more so throughout the day and pray, and they're getting all the way down to child's pose, getting all the way back up to standing,
Mm-hmm.
they have less hip osteoarthritis than people who are sitting in chairs all day in the modern culture, and it's not it's a simple task, but getting all the way down, putting your joints in their full range of motion, and then having the strength to still to pull yourself back up. Like when you get into your 30s and 40s, people are like, oh, I don't want to sit on the ground, then I have to get back up. And we lose this ability to even sit on the ground or to want to stand, or we need help. And it's such a simple thing that it goes neglected a lot. And I think it's that we should be sitting on the ground. We should be crisscross applesauce like when we were kids,
Mm-hmm.
and be doing that more. I sit around the coffee table a lot when I'm working sometimes. So I'll mix it up from sitting in a chair to sitting in different types of chairs to standing to laying on my belly to sitting at the coffee table crisscrossed and working there. Like I mix it up all different ways so that I continue to move within my body.
You're speaking my language, doctor, and I do the same thing. I have so many different positions. Like right now, you see me sitting. Not the case. Just a few minutes ago, right before our call, I was on my knees. Sometimes I'm working on my, on my feet standing, and I need to be constantly, challenging, like you're saying, challenging my body, challenging my range of motion, making sure that I'm not decaying and that I'm
Mhm.
building upon everything that I've worked so hard for. It's funny, just the simple activities like you were talking about before can provide, I feel, momentum for people. So for those people, that select group of people that is just fearful of it, but can start with that few minutes of walking each day, they're going to feel motivated, they're going to feel energetic, they're going to feel, I guess, inspired to continue and to go further with it. So that few minutes of walking every day is going to turn into something bigger, in the future. So, and I think that you offer some programs like that that start with, what is it? Is it a 12-week program that you have?
So I have a couple mobility programs. My main mobility one is the mobility method, where there's no timeline on it, because the whole point is that your body's going to need to be reassessed, and you're going to need to keep checking in, and it's a lifelong journey and practice. And so there's a whole self-assessment that you do when you first come in, and you really get to know your body. Like, where am I restricted that I had no idea? Because a lot of times when we're feeling pain or tightness in the body, we only want to attack that one place, but we
Mm.
don't realize that around those areas, it could actually be really tight and restricted, which is causing the pain on the knee or on the back. And we have to look around the areas so that we take the pressure off. And so there's a whole self-assessment, and then it's broken down into all the exercises you can need and learn. And really the goal there is to develop a simple daily routine. I'm going to do one in the morning before I get out of bed. I'm going to do one before I work out, one after I work out, one before I go to bed. And all of a sudden you have 4 different moves for mobility that you do on a daily basis that don't take much time. That's the whole point. Like, how can I floss my teeth to keep them healthy? We all can brush it, but are we flossing, to really go that next level? And that's really what mobility would be in the body. You're working out, but are you doing the mobility that actually keeps you functional
And,
to
and
prevent those injuries?
exactly. I think that's a major factor that a lot of people also, for after sitting at a desk, let's say for a few years, and then they're deciding to jump into some sort of workout routine, they're going to get injured. It's like the whole weekend warrior mentality when,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen people get injured. I don't really want to talk about it because it's pretty gross, but I saw somebody's pec detach in the gym as a weekend warrior. And it's a testament to the fact that people, if you're not constantly caring for your body, you're going to get injured. And this
Yeah.
mobility training that you're talking about, I think is wonderful. And it's a wonderful, easy, quick way to people just get involved and get started, build up that momentum.
Yeah. And then I also have the optimal body, which is just like, it's like I consider it having your physical therapist with you at all times.
Hmm.
So we go through core stability, really understanding what the core is, because it's not the six pack, but it's actually your entire pillar. It's how you breathe, it's how you use your pelvic floor. It's all in combination with this. So we build that from level 1 to level 4 each month, and then we go through functional hit workouts where I'm trying to bring in movements that you wouldn't typically see, because I want to challenge you, I want to explore your range of motion, I want to explore what your body can do. And then we go through mobility flows for every part of the body, and muscle activations as well. So think of like therapy type exercises that really get you to target specific muscles so that you understand and you build that mind body connection better, so that you feel safer working out, you feel good and empowered in the body. Like, that's my whole goal, is to continue to empower people to get to know their own body. There's no one way for anything, but you get to know your own body. You're going to have so much more control over how you feel when you know you're going to get injured, when you know you're neglecting something. And it just brings way more awareness, which I think helps to decrease pain and decrease injury.
Yes, absolutely. I think that awareness for a lot of people is just, it's going to be mind blowing and mind changing if they can get into this program. So, what is it exactly? Is it a one-on-one thing? Are they videos? How do these
Yeah,
programs?
so the membership is full videos. So every month you get new videos. You still get access to the old ones, because I don't like people to feel like they have to go on. Like, there's always opportunity to just mix it in wherever your body needs. But it's full video. I'm cueing you, and there's visual cues. So
Mm.
it is, I I don't want to I ever do just like the GIF or the photo in the ebook, because then I'm not actually teaching anything. I'm just showing you and saying, hopefully you get it right. This is really like, this is me if you were in person with me. This is everything that I would cue on. This is everything that I would teach, and you get to have it for nothing a month, essentially.
That is wonderful. So cool. Doc Jen Fit, you had mentioned something. I just want to clarify this for the listeners. You mentioned HIIT. Is that HIIT that you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. High
Uh,
intensity interval training.
and can you just a brief overview of what that is and maybe the benefits?
Yeah, so like I said, it's just getting that high intensity intervals where it could be you're going for a walk and you're just going to either go a fast paced walk or a sprint every once in a while, and you're getting intervals of that higher intensity. So within the HIIT workouts that I do, we break it from either like a 16-minute thing to a 20-minute thing to a 30-minute thing. So depending on where you're at in your body, if you've never done them, I have people start at the 16-minute because that's also very exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always modifications and progressions for every level. So I have people who don't yet feel comfortable jumping, but they take the modifications for everything. And I have people who've never felt comfortable jumping and are now jumping. So it's a cool progression to really see how people start to trust their body and go along with the process and start to feel completely different in the body. That's the goal.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right, Doc Jen Fit, I am going to be mindful of your time, and I'm going to ask you the question that I ask every single guest on this podcast, and that is, let's imagine it was 100 years from now, and you had great grandkids, and they were so inspired by what you did in your life, and they wanted to write a book about you and your life. What would you like the title of that book to say?
I would like it to say that true success is found through love, laughter, and connection.
Oh, oh, Doc Jen, that is so cool. So true success is found in love, laughter, and connection.
Yeah.
Great grandma, Doc Jen Fit. I love it. Love it. Okay, awesome. And can you share with us how the listeners can get in touch with you to find your program or just reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, everything across the board is DocGenFit. So Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, website, docgenfit.com. And on there, you'll find all of my programs. So whether it's the mobility method, which you can also just type in the mobility method, the mobility method by Doc GenFit, the optimal body by Doc GenFit, and both of those would pop up on Google as well. And there's also my website, and just most of my connection and people I connect with is always through Instagram. I can't get back to everyone, but I do my best to check in and get back to what I can.
Yeah, you got back to me. Look, and I was hounding you. It took a few weeks, right? I kept going and going and going. And you said you were so nice about it. You're like, I see you. I see you there. Thank you for your persistence. And we connected. And I truly appreciate that. So guys out there and gals, please reach out to Doc Jen Fit. Get started. Get yourself moving. Get your body feeling right. Lift your spirits. Feel good. Crush the day. Doc Jen Fit, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It has been honestly a pleasure to listen to you. It's been inspiring. I'm ready to get up and go do a walk. I'm ready to take my little breathing breaks and rock the day. So thank you so much, Doc Jen Fit.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Hey, Small Axe community. I would like to say thank you for listening to another episode of my podcast where we show you how to use your small axe to build a lasting empire. Now, if you liked what you heard, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, go to my website at smalaxecommunities.com. Book a call with me. And until the next episode, keep sharpening those axes.